it's going to be muggy throughout most of this week, but pretty normal for this time of year as well. Every once in a while, a spotty shower here and there can't be ruled out either. Here's where we're waking up with tomorrow morning. Real temperature is going to be into those low to mid 70s to start off our Tuesday morning. A little bit more in the way of some cloud coverage building in throughout the day. Of course, that's going to lead to a little bit more in the way of some spotty showers as well. I still think we see plenty of sunshine. Now, while these are going to be the real temperatures, you factor in the humidity tomorrow morning, more than likely it's going to feel a little uncomfortable as you head out the door already. Let's flash forward going into the afternoon for tomorrow. Now, here's a look at 1 p.m. for tomorrow afternoon. Those heat indices, those heat index values already into those low to mid 90s across the board, even some areas reaching up into the triple digits already across the river valley. By the time we get to the peak heating of the day, that's where we could see anywhere between really 95 up to 100. Of course, a few places, especially south of I-40, going to have those heat index values and anywhere between 100, 101, 102 for tomorrow afternoon. Of course, that's pretty much the forecast throughout most of this upcoming week. Now, once we get later on into the month, maybe early July, that's when we could see those heat index values getting a little bit higher, close to that 105 mark. We'll talk about that here coming up in just a second. Futurecast showing us this for tomorrow. Again, that cloud coverage is going to build in throughout the morning hours. By the time we get to the afternoon, maybe welcoming in a few scattered showers here and there. I tell you what, the coverage isn't going to be great for tomorrow. Not everybody's going to see these spotty showers. I think most of us actually stay dry, but some folks tomorrow afternoon and into the evening going to catch a few of those isolated showers here and there. Not too much to be worried about. Going into Wednesday, of course, that is the rodeo of the Ozarks there in Springdale. Going to be fantastic weather for it. We'll start off into those 80s for the parade. By the time we get to the afternoon, you know it, it's going to be hot and humid outside. Of course, when it comes to what it feels like over the next several days, I think it gets a little bit more comfortable, maybe a few degrees more comfortable by the end of the week. But Saturday, Sunday into next week, that's when we could get close to 105 for those heat index values, getting warmer and warmer towards the end of the month. Northwest Arkansas over the next 10 days looks like this, pretty consistent for us. It's going to be warm, it's going to be humid into those low 90s for those actual temperatures. Heat index values going to be just a bit warmer than that. Pretty much the rest of this work week, we're going to hang on to the low chances for a few pop-up showers here and there. Of course, tomorrow afternoon and evening holds the best chance that we'll have. By the time we get to early next week, maybe looking a little bit better when it comes to more of those scattered showers. Across the river valley, same story. We're going to be warm the rest of this week. It's going to be those heat index values into the triple digits pretty much every afternoon through the weekend. By the time we get to early next week, a little bit more in the way of some rain chances. That may help us out just a bit, and by a few degrees here and there. But of course, when it rains, that comes the humidity, so it might be a little bit more muggy early next week. Of course, though, this is pretty typical for this time of year. Good news is, like we've been talking about throughout the show, there is other areas across the United States that are dealing with those heat advisories, excessive heat, stuff like
Northeast.
that. We haven't really had that yet. We're a little bit different of qualification for those heat advisories. Of course, we're going to eventually get there, maybe a little bit later on into the month, into early July. We could start seeing those heat index values anywhere between 105 to 110. That's when you'll start to see those heat advisories for us. So enjoy the cooler weather while we have it out there right now. It's
right
nice,
around 100.
nice and cool out there in the afternoon.
Exactly.